Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. How are all of you guys? So glad to see you, as I always say. Welcome in. Hello to the replay warriors. Hello to everyone in the bushes. I'm just going to give it a moment for the page to load to let everyone come in and do all the things. Okay? So let's just sit tight for 1 second. And I'm just going to pull up our live. But first, let me make sure the volume's off. There we go. Okay. I have this aversion to hearing myself. Oh my goodness. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see you guys, as always. Hello. Hey, Stitches. Yes, we're all Stitches, right? So good. Hello. Thank you. I did make the decision, guys. Short, clean cut is better. It's more presentable in my opinion. So I like low maintenance and clean cut. So that's what we went with. Thank you so much, Fran. I appreciate that. You love the haircut. Thank you. I appreciate that. Come on in, everybody. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for being here, as always. It's a very peculiar week, as I said, guys. I completely understand if we don't have the full audience because it is a holiday week. People are out doing things. Nonetheless, the show must go on. So I'm still going to be here all week long for those of you who need a respite, you need a break from all the things, and you just want to tune in and get some rest and relaxation in. I'll be your person this week. So please don't forget that in the midst of all your busy, I'm always going to be there. So feel free to tune in. I've got a live going on today, tomorrow, the following day, and then on Friday I have the podcast. So tons of things for you guys, okay? Thank you guys for your compliments on the haircuts. I was looking a little rough. But believe it or not, some people reached out and gave me compliments. They said, Juan, I like your hair on the long side. I kind of like that. And I could leave or take it. You know what I mean? So I just decided clean cut is a better look. So thank you all so much for the purple hearts. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at all the purple hearts. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Guys, remember the coffee pot that I told you that Susan, that Penny got me? I plugged it in, and this is the first cup of the first pot of that coffee. I had to go to the store to buy new filters. It takes a different filter. So, hold on. Yeah. Very, very good. It's still Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut coffee, but wow. And you know what? It brewed so fast. I'm like, the pot's already done? I get it. The old pot, it took forever, but it was still good. This new pot here, oh my goodness. So fast. Robin says, you can definitely be my person this week. I'm retired and alone, including the holidays, so it's wonderful having you as my co-pilot. Right. Let me be your wingman all week. It's perfectly fine, right? Love it. The bougie coffee pot, love it, right? It's an upgrade. And so I have this feeling that now that I've got the new coffee pot up and rolling, Penny's going to be over a little more often than usual because she did not care for my old Mr. Coffee Pot. I bought that thing when it was like $17.99. But I love it, I've had that thing for a long time. And I'm not mad at the fact that it lasted as long as it did. However, it needed to be retired. We needed to bring the new coffee pot in. Now that I'm tasting this, yes, we needed that. Should have all the neighborhood tea, right? One house at a time. She's converting us all over. Deb says, I look forward to holidays because I get to choose what I want to do since there are no family members close by and everyone is out of... Yeah. Love that for you guys. So good. Okay. It was that Penny. Yes, Colette. We've got each other's keys. So, anyway, Let's chat stitches, guys. I want to kick off this week with a recap from last week. For those of you who do not know how to read patterns, you don't know how to read the symbols, come here. I'm going to show you the things 1 week at a time. Just stick around, and maybe you know this already. Maybe, all of this is old news to you. But just know there's always someone out there. It may just be one person, but they're brand new to it. They don't know how to read patterns. They don't know how to look at the symbols. They don't know what they mean. And that's what we're doing here. So we're going to be looking at symbols. I would like to feature a few patterns. And I want to talk about a website. So let's get started here. I have some new cards here, but let's pull just a few of the old ones just as a refresher. Okay. So before I start, how many people here in our audience cannot read a pattern? You have no idea. It looks like hieroglyphics. You have no idea what the pattern, like, you know what a pattern is, but you can't read it. Or you can't read the graphs. Let's open that up. The graphs or the writing. Anybody? Okay, so a little bit. Okay, so you guys are in the right place. You're in the right place, even if you're in the bushes, even if you're not responding and you're just answering yourself. Whatever works for you, works for me, works for us. Okay. So my goal here with Let's Chat Stitches is to just provide you all with a little bit of information that you can take with you, that you can add to whatever it is that you're doing day to day. So we're starting with symbols, but I will be getting into the words and the breakdown of the letters and what they mean and all the things. The handicap that I'm having right now, guys, and it's the reason why I haven't shown any of the letters yet. Many of you know this. I'm backwards. Yes, this is all flipped backwards. So when I show letters, you guys see them backwards. So when I write the letters on my cards and I show them to you guys, you're not seeing the things the right way. Even some of the symbols where you're doing front post work and back post, I can't show you those symbols because they're going to show up backwards. So I have to be very careful on what I can and cannot show you, So I'm working around the things. Just give me grace. I'm trying to figure out maybe if I write everything backwards and then show it to you, it's going to show the correct way. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but stay tuned. Let's see. I cannot read patterns for several reasons, including dyslexia and the loss of sight. No worries. No worries. And again, this is just for fun. And hopefully there's at least one little takeaway from all the things. Okay. Start with writing backwards, right, Erica? I'm hoping something works. Something's got to give. But the one thing that I want to tell you guys is, in order to read a graph, you've got to know what you're looking at. And part of what you're looking at are these little bits of symbols that are glued together to create the picture. So let's start with some of the ones from last week. Does anyone remember what this one is? Anybody? Any takers? Hi, Krista. Welcome in. Magic circle. Okay, anyone else? Vixen says magic circle, magic ring. Yes. So if you guessed magic ring, magic circle, you are correct. I feel like there's a little bit of a haze. Do you guys see the haze? Hold on, guys. There's going to be a crinkle alert. I'm warning you ahead of time. I don't like looking at that. Hold on. Sit tight. Okay, I'm going to wipe down the camera. It's going to be very weird. Look away for a second, okay? Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Yes, much clearer. Sorry, guys. I had to do it. Yes, much clearer. All right. Yes, it's a magic ring. So great job. Thank you guys so much. All right. Yes, this is much better. ASMR, right? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if you had crinkles and things. I apologize. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Anyone know what this is? We've been wiped clean, right? Oh. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate that. So, yes, very good for those. This is the start of a pattern or the beginning. You guys are getting this. I'm so happy. Maybe you knew this already, but thank you for appeasing me. All right, so what about this one? Does anybody know what crochet sign this is? What symbol this is? Okay, Tie-Dye Dawn says a chain. Pen says a chain. Anyone else? Okay, so we know what this is. This is a chain. Very good. Now I'm going to throw a wrench your way. What is this? Any takers? Anybody know what stitch this is? Hi, Nisi. Welcome in. Any takers? Okay, Kim says double treble. Deb says double treble. Stephanie says treble. We've got lots of trebles. Extended trebles. Triple, double. Okay. And I failed to mention, and I do apologize, for all of my international viewers, specifically to the UK, these are all US terms. And this is considered a double treble. This is a double treble. Okay. So double treble. Very good. All right. Let's do another one. What's this one, guys? Any idea? So close, Janet. You almost had it. Okay, so I'm seeing, yeah, okay, some are saying shell, some are saying block. So this here is a block stitch, and let me explain to you why this is a block stitch and not a shell stitch. The shell stitches start at 5 and they go up. So 5, 7, and 9, those are your shells. The reason why this is a block stitch is because the granny stitch is 3 double crochets, or 3, it's like 3 stitches, 3 peas in a pod, the granny stitch. So you've got 3, and then you've got 4 here. It's not quite a shell, but it's not quite a cluster or anything like that. So they call this the block stitch. Okay. So it could be half double crochets. It could be single crochets. If you've got 4 stitches in the same spot, that's a block stitch. Okay. So very good. Now we're going to jump. We're ready to jump into the new week's ones, right? We ready to do that? Or do you want to do a few more of the old ones? Tell me the things, guys. Okay. That's a shell. All right, so 4 is a block, 4 is a block, 5 is a shell. All right, so before deciding what stitch it is, count your stitches. Okay, so if you got all of them, great work. Thank you so much for participating and all the things. So now let's move on to some of the new ones. All right, I'm not going to start off with a very difficult one, but I will tell you that I accidentally forgot that I did double trebles, so I did it a second time. So I'm just going to crumple this up. We already have one from last week, so let's move on. All right, so can anybody tell me what this is? What is this? Any ideas? So a quad is 1 more strike on that stitch. Instead of 3, you're seeing another one. Hi, Ola Joe. Welcome in. So, okay, we've got bobble, we've got popcorn, and we got puff. So I'm seeing lots of bobbles. I'm seeing clusters. Melanie says Christmas ornament. Oh, okay. I see bobbles. I see puffs. I see bean. Okay. maybe popcorn. Okay. You're going to learn the things today, guys. There's a stark contrast and difference between the puffs, the baubles, and the popcorns. Okay. So Andrew says it's an onion. Okay, so the answer to this is, it is called, oh, and by the way, with these stitches, you need to count the lines. Okay, so I'll get it up close. Count those lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is called a 5 puff. It's backwards, but it says 5 puff. Okay, so let me show you. There's different puff stitches. You've got, and forgive the drawing, guys. You've got a 3 puff. They call it like a shallow puff. You have a 3, a 5, and yes, you even have a 7. And the way that this is drawn, the way that you see it in the diagrams, the reason why it's a puff is you've got all of your loops going into the top part. You'll see a flat piece at the top. All your stitches are gathered at the top, and you'll see a line across the top of all the puffs. So you've got a 3, a 5, and a 7. There you go. A 3, a 5, and a 7. Now, what does a popcorn look like? If this is a puff, what is a popcorn? So let me show you. That is a 3 popcorn, or I'm sorry, I wrote it on the same side as the picture. I'm going to explain the diagram in just a moment. So you've got a 3, you've got a 5, and you have a 7. So think about the way you do a popcorn. You're doing a bunch of double crochets, and then you grab the first one and the last one and you join them together, right, to make that popcorn. That's why you see the strikes in the beginning, at the end. So when you're looking at your pictures, remember, how do I make that popcorn stitch, right? I do all my stitches and then I grab the first one and the last one, and that's where you see the strike lines. That's a popcorn. Also, remember, when you're making your popcorn, there's a hole at the top. So that's another way to know by looking at this that it's a popcorn stitch. Regardless of what size, you've got a 3, which is a shallow popcorn, and then you've got your standard popcorn. Most popcorns are 5, and then you've got your super popcorn, which is 7 stitches. So you've got 3 different popcorns, and you've got 3 different puffs. Let me see. See the difference? I'm gonna grab this in this one. So it's a stark contrast between all of them. Okay? I'm going to save the baubles for next week because I don't want to throw too much at you. So you now have the popcorns and you have the puffs. All right? Hi, Dawn Aaron. Welcome in. I'm just now seeing you. Huge hugs to you. Thank you for being here today. I love it. Let me give you some of that. There you go, Dawn Aaron. Right there, just for you. Okay, so the last one that I have is this one, and it's going to be a challenge for those who don't read patterns, but I have full confidence that maybe you'll figure this one out. Can anybody tell me what this is? Thank you, Dawn Aaron. Can anybody tell me what this is? See, you guys know this. You guys got this. What? Yes, it's a repeat sequence. It's a repeat or a repeat sequence. So when you're reading a pattern, anything that you're seeing inside of the parenthesis, you work, and then if you need to repeat it, you'll see the asterisk before it. So usually after this, you'll see the pattern write repeat asterisk until the end of the round or end of the row. But this all in here is exclusive. It gets worked together. And this is the repeat. The asterisk is the repeat. Okay? So, yeah. That's what we have. And next week, what I'm going to do is I am going to jumble these up to do the recap, and then we will get into more. I'm going to try and write the words and the letters backwards for next week, because everything, I mean, look, you're seeing all of the words backwards there. So I'm going to write backwards and see if you guys can see them the correct way. Stay tuned. Okay, so I have a question for you guys. I would love to know general consensus, and there's no right or wrong answer on this. In your very humble opinion, in your humble opinion, what stitch out there do you feel is the most difficult stitch to accomplish? Sound off. What stitch is the hardest for you? Any takers? There's tons of stitches out there. So Deb West says bouillon. Kitty Lane says jasmine. Let's see. Lana B says cross anything. Okay. Penny says jasmine. Okay. I'm reading. Increase and decreases. Crocodile. Okay. Post stitches. The broomstick. The star, the reversed single crochet. Okay. I'm just reading all this back for the replay warriors. We've got another star. We've got another crab. Crocodile. Corner to corner moss. Definitely broomstick. Treble. Okay. Increases or decreases. Okay, good. Continue going. I need a sip of coffee, but I want to tell you something really important, and it's the reason why I'm asking you guys this. There's a very specific point that I want to make about this. Hold on. Did I tell you this coffee was good? Okay. Is the crab that backward single crochet? Yes, it's the backward single. So good. Right, Christine? The half double thermal. Okay. I would like all of us to just take a look at the room, read the room, and you're seeing all these comments of all the stitches, right? And we're all not saying the same stitch. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. That literally means that all the stitches can be difficult. All the stitches can be easy. The difficulty of a stitch is relative. It's relative. And what does that mean? That means that every stitch is attainable. We can do every stitch. I'm trying to put it out there that we need to break the stigma of having these levels of stitches that are just impossible to attain. We need to quit that. All the stitches can happen one loop at a time. If you're patient, if you're willing to learn, you're going to be able to do it. That's what we need to start thinking. We need to get into that mind frame that it's not hard. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to loop and take one step at a time. Do not let the difficulty of what you think is hard get to you, because it's not hard. These stitches are not hard, guys. It's not. It may be difficult to understand, but once you understand it, you'll get it. And that's the important takeaway from all of this. So everything that you're looking at, everything you're hearing, everything you're reading, it's relative. It's literally relative. And when people say, oh, that's too hard, my question now becomes, did you give it a chance? And if you gave it a chance, were you patient? Did you ask for help? Did you take it one step at a time? Did you rush through it? There's lots of questions. There's lots of parts to that before you sit there and say, oh, I can't, it's hard, bye. And you close the door on it. You know, one of the amazing things about crochet is, well, you've heard it, and without sounding cliche, a machine can't reproduce what we do. We already know this. But also, the difficulty of a stitch, again, is subjective from one person to the next, right? So and Kathy hit the nail right on the head. You never know which stitch you're actually really going to like until you learn them. Maybe your favorite stitch has yet to be revealed. Maybe there's still new stitches out there that you haven't learned yet that might just be your new favorite stitch. I still like my original stitches, but the more that I learn, the more I actually like. And you guys, I have an update. I have to tell you this. It's really important. So you heard me on my podcast episodes, my Whipping It with Juans, and all the things about how much I passionately love the treble crochet, right? You heard about how much I love it and how easy it works up for me and all the things. Well, let me just be honest with you. I do not like the treble crochet. I find it very difficult. Well, I have found it very difficult. And for the longest time, I would tell you guys this. I don't like treble crochet. Well, I found out that by going back to the basics, going back to the hook that I started with in crochet, well, one of them anyway, this one, I don't have that problem that I had when I told you guys I had an issue with trebles. The pull through. So not the first one, but the second one, my hook would always get caught with the tapered hook. So I said, let me try an inline hook. And believe it or not, it flows like butter. And I'm like, okay, well, I still don't like the stitch, but I can do it. So I just want to let you know, like, even for those of us who have been crocheting for decades, we're still learning different methods. We're still evolving in our craft. So, I learned something. I'm like, okay, well, go back to the inline hook. The inline hook helps me go through all the things. So, yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Yes, as Mama Swift is saying, practice, practice, practice. And whatever that other P word is, let's not talk about that. The perfect word. So I don't like to use that word. I like to use permanent. I learned that recently. I told you guys that. So practice makes permanent. We're still going to make mistakes. We're still going to learn. There's still going to be learning curves and all the things. But practice makes permanent. And let's not try to achieve perfect, because let's be honest, none of us are perfect. And so, yeah, as long as we're okay with that, you're going to go far. You're going to go far. So, yeah. Now, what stitch is your favorite stitch? And while you're signing off in the comments telling me what your favorite stitch is, I'm going to tell you some of mine. I don't have just one. There's too many stitches out there for me to have just one favorite stitch. But I will tell you, if I had to narrow it down to like a top 3, my top 3 would be the half double crochet. That might just be like the top one. Half double crochet is, it's one of them. Half double crochet is one of my favorite stitches. Also, I like, what else do I like? It's called the hexagon stitch, and I don't really get a chance to work it up that often. It's a challenging stitch because you're holding 14 loops on the hook. But yeah, when I have the chance to do it, it's the hexagon stitch. I like doing that one. And call me basic, but that's okay. Double crochets. It's the foundation of what we do. So I love the doubles and the half doubles, and I like the hexagon stitch. So let's see. We've got extended doubles, triple trebles, double crochet front post. So one thing that I'm really learning from you guys is you guys do like the foundational stitches. Your basic stitches tend to be some of the favorites. I love that. Hi, Lenny. Welcome in. Linked double, single crochet, double, half double crochet. Yep. I do like the bean stitch too. The bean stitch is really nice, especially in wearables like hats and scarves and things. A+. Super nice. Alpine is your favorite. Nice. Jeremy doesn't like the half double crochet. Okay, thank you for that. Melanie says, I love moss, especially with variegated yarn. Isn't it beautiful how the colors just go like this? It's so nice. Tried and true double crochet. Yep. Now, which stitch is the oldest stitch? Is there an oldest stitch? Can anyone tell me that without looking at Google? Which stitch is the oldest stitch? Okay, so we've got different answers here. I'm loving this. Single crochet, slips, clusters, chains. Romans did the slips. Anybody have any other answers? I'm guessing slips, the knot, the chain, the granny. I love this. This is so good. I wish the granny was the oldest stitch. It's not, but I wish it was. Chain to start. So I see a lot of you guys saying slips. So the chain is the oldest, because in order to do a slip stitch, you have to make your chains first. And so the fishermen would make netting out of chains. I'm sure you've heard the story. Their hooks weren't actually like our crochet hooks. They were literally like hooks, and they would take, you know, clear fishing line, and they would make netting and all the things. And so, yeah, chains is the oldest stitch. And then we've evolved from chains into slip stitches. And then the slips turned into singles. And then the singles turned into doubles. All US terms, of course. But the progression began with the chains. Yep. Very, very nice. Hi, Jesse. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I just learned the moss stitch, and I really like it. And the half double for you. Very nice. I suppose chain, since that's where it all starts. Yeah. You know, I don't know the exact origins, but based off of what I was able to look up, the fishermen, the fishing lines, and, you know, catching food back in the day. And they would use hooks and crochet like chains. So, yeah. All right. So let me find my sheet of paper. You know, I put notes on one of my sheets. Hopefully. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. All right. You love the history of things? Me too. You know, the history of crochet goes way back, you know, and believe it or not, you can look this up, because I found out that, and this was so surprising to me, did you know that the original crocheters were mostly men? Mostly men were the crocheters back in the day, because of the fact that they needed to make these chain nets to be able to catch food, to bring home. It was a male-dominated craft, because, you know, men were out catching food for the family and all the things. And as crochet evolved, it slowly transitioned from a men's craft to a predominantly female craft. And as the cycle is, you know, it went from a male-dominated craft to a female-dominated craft to now we're evolving into this all for one and one for all type situation. So I find that to be very, very interesting. So yes, crochet began as a male-dominated craft because of, you know, hunting and catching food and all the things. And so, yeah, with the evolution of the craft, it took a slide over to the other side. So, yeah, hopefully, there's tons of stories out there about it. Feel free to dig all into the internet. But yeah, that's the gist of the story, because if I sat here and replayed it all out, we'd be here for hours. But based on my homework that I gave myself this week, that's what I found out. Okay? So, yes, even tending to livestock too in the fields, they would sit in the fields and they would make their net, you know, while watching the sheep and doing all the things. Yeah, they crocheted outside. Okay, so I want to talk about Ravelry. All right, so I know it's hit or miss. Either you're all in or you don't want anything to do with it. The thing that I want to tell you is, for those of you guys who are already in Ravelry, all right, I don't know if you're aware of exactly how many patterns that are in Ravelry sitting there waiting for you to play with that are free, that you don't even have to pay for. And for those of you guys who are not into Ravelry, if you want a space to check out people's, like myself, like designers, crochet artists, if you want to check out their patterns, that's kind of the place to go. You can go onto websites like Yarn Inspirations, Lovecrafts, Mary Maxim, but 9 times out of 10, those patterns are generated through the company. You know, people work for them and they, you know, design patterns for the company, and the company owns those. But if you want patterns from people like myself, Ravelry is one of the places to go. It's not the only place to go, but it's one of the places. So anyway, I want to tell you some facts. I want to give you some information about Ravelry. Okay, Ravelry is a website that houses patterns in fiber arts, knitting, crochet, loom knitting, machine knitting, you name it, they have it. Okay, and crochet designers like myself load our patterns into Ravelry for people to check out, download, and for the paid patterns, you would pay for it on Ravelry and download it and print it. Anyway, the reason why I'm talking about this is because of the free patterns. You know, a lot of these companies out here are gloating about the fact that they have all these free patterns on their website, which is true. They've got tons of free patterns, but they want you to buy their yarn to go with their patterns. It's kind of like a sales gimmick, you know? Come to the website, check out the yarn. These are the free patterns that I have to go with that yarn. Well, if you already have yarn, see, I already have yarn. A lot of you have yarn. So you just want the pattern. Well, you can check out other places. Those other places, well, one of them is Ravelry. And so it's Ravelry, Ravelry. And I want to tell you that, and because I'm a bistitchual, and a lot of people who watch me are bistitchuals, I want to give you the facts on both sides of the fence. Okay, so I'm going to start with crochet. So the Ravelry in the crochet world, all right, listen to this. They have 177,449 free patterns. I'll repeat that number. 177,449 free patterns. You can go in there, you can check for yourself. You can click crochet, click free, and it'll show you exactly how many free patterns are sitting in there. 177,449, okay? And that's everything from placemakers to scarves to sweaters to hats to blankets, you name it, it's all in there, okay? 177,449 free patterns. They're not asking you to buy the yarn. You can just go ahead and look at it, and if you like it, you download it. Now, as for paid patterns in crochet, they've got 300,835. Yes, over 300,000 patterns that you could pay for. But as far as the freebies are concerned, yeah, 177,000 and some change. So I encourage you guys to check Ravelry out. There's tons of things, even on my page. Shameless plug. I have a handful of freebies. If you haven't downloaded them, please check them out and download them. They're free. Who doesn't like free? Anyway, I digress. Now, for my knitters, us knitters, I love this part. So anyway, now, the free knit patterns, 176,000. So there are more free crochet patterns on Ravelry than knit patterns. Okay, so 176,000 free knit patterns. And again, it's everything from amigurumis to shawls to blankets, you name it, hats, scarves. It's all under one umbrella when I click the free button. Now, as far as the paid for patterns for the knitters, 422,000. 422,000 paid for patterns. So clearly, you know, it is knit heavy, but the crochet side holds their own. I mean, it's really great to see combined for the crocheters. 477,000. That's amazing. Almost 500,000 patterns for crocheters on Ravelry. Again, check them out. All right. Now, I was trying to figure out like what color is like on trend right now. And for those of you guys that don't know, they came out with the color for 2026. I don't even want to talk about it because, listen, is it even a color? Does anyone know what the color for 2026 is? Any ideas? Aaron says pink. Shirley says pink. No, it's not pink. It's white. The color for 2026 is white. And it's not just any white. It's got an undertone of another color. Can you guys believe this? They chose white as the color for 2026, guys. Of all the colors that are available, they chose white. I mean, do you see why I'm not even talking about the color they chose? It's white. Oh, it's a disappointment. I want to look elsewhere. But anyway, instead of looking for the color of the year, because I wanted originally to create something featuring the color of the year because, you know, it's cool. I quickly diverted. I took a pivot. I went left. So the color on trend right now is green. So Dr. Bob Brown has a quote. The future will either be green or not at all. So a lot of the new generation crocheters and knitters are really big on recycled materials. So recycled cotton, recycled acrylics, recycled polyester. It's all about saving the environment. And so thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, this new generation of crocheters and knitters, they're all about preservation. You know, what could we, you know, stash bus? What could we repurpose, reuse, and all the things? And so, yeah, green. The green is what's on trend right now. So whether it's the color or if it's repurposed fibers, you're going green or you're using the color green. Going green or the color green. So that's what's on trend right now. So I say this to tell you that on Ravelry, they've got a whole bunch of green inspired patterns featured right there on the main page. Let that be a source of inspiration for you. If it's something that you like seeing, maybe you can dig in a little further if you like the pattern of a particular sweater, whatever the case may be. So, yeah. So Ruth is working with Reclaim Sweater. With Reclaim Sweater yarn. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, again, maybe green, the color green isn't your favorite color, but this new generation played it smart. They said, well, if the color's not to your liking, what about taking inspiration from these patterns using recycled yarns? You're going green, right? You're not wasting anything. You're repurposing all of the things. And so to that, I say, I just want to put this out there because compartmentalizing people is not something I'm cool with. So I know I'm a Gen X. I'm very proud of it. Just because I'm not a new age crocheter doesn't mean that I don't know how to conserve and to, you know, repurpose or reuse. So I want to put that out there. So regardless of what generation you're from, as long as you're conscious of the fact that, like, we're in a world where we should be repurposing things and conserving things, then, you know, let that be at the forefront, not just this new age of crocheters, because they have a space in crochet because of the people that were here before them. They didn't invent it. It was here before them, and it's probably going to be here after them, you know? So give space to the people who were already here before you showed up. is kind of what I'm saying. So Brigitte says, I always thrift. My furniture is all, I love it. Repurpose all the way. You're helping by using my stash. Yes. Another great way to recycle, repurpose is look at some of your old makes, right? If you just have no interest in that and you're not interested in donating it, but you really like the yarn, frog it. Have a rip it session. Cake it all back up. If you love the yarn and you're not wanting to donate that yarn or that project, frog it back, cake it up, repurpose it into a brand new project. Breathe life into it. You know, it's going to be worked back up into a project and potentially be someone's gift for decades and decades to come. So yeah. Yes. So however you see your recycling situation go is kind of how, you know, I would suggest that you go. So anyway, I just wanted to put all of that out there. Like every week I'm going to talk about a topic, and this week it's literally about conservation, repurposing, and, you know, seeing what you have in your stash and what could you use again so that it doesn't end up in a landfill, right? Also too, before throwing your yarn into the bin, into the trash, ask your friends, ask family members if they're interested in the yarn that you're about to toss. You never know. It could be something really small, real small, you know, maybe just 5 yards. Ask anybody if they want your leftovers. You never know. Someone may actually take that off your hands, and it's going to stop it from becoming trash in a landfill somewhere. You know what I mean? So always ask around, you know, before assuming that it's trash. Now, in those rare instances, you just don't feel compelled to share all of your knots and things with people. A great solution is what I've been talking about on the channel for years. Cut it up and put it in an amigurumi. And if you don't do amigurumis, cut the knots up, put it in a sandwich bag, and label it amigurumi stuffing, and ask anybody if they want amigurumi stuffing. You know? Because tons of people make amigurumi, especially the new age crocheters. So yeah. So let's see. Jay says, my LYS has a yarn sharing program for unwanted yarn. That's amazing, and I really wish that every LYS had that. So when are you doing Taco Tuesday Challenge again? So next week. Next Tuesday is Taco Tuesday Season 5. This is the second week of our break. So I'm glad you mentioned this, Laura. So next week is Taco Tuesday, but we're not doing Taco Tuesday every week. It's every other week. So we're going to do taco and then stitches, taco, stitches. And the challenges that we get are going to allow us to spend 2 weeks on them instead of just 1 week. So super, super nice. I do that with my yarn ends, stuff amigurumi. Yeah, it's a great way to conserve yarn. Susan says she likes that. Me too. It gives us a chance to really dig into our projects. I'm watching while I'm cooking for Christmas, doing desserts. I love it. So, so good. I spent the day cleaning. I mean, I rolled up them sleeves and I put elbow grease to everything. I cleaned, what are they called? The trim around the room. So I started in my bathroom. I deep cleaned the bathroom from ceiling to floor, floor to ceiling, did all the things. And then I went down and around my hallway, the trim, washed the trim, and then mopped the floors. I have hardwood floor throughout, so like it's a lot of mopping. And then I went into my great room and started in there, and I put the fireplace on. I had the music going on the TV with Amazon Prime. I played the music and I had it blaring. I had such a great day today cleaning. It was so much fun. Baseboards. Sorry guys, not the trim, it's baseboards. I cleaned the baseboards today. Yes. And you know what? I'm very proud of the fact that I do keep up with my baseboards. It wasn't very difficult to clean. It's just, there's a lot of baseboard. So, you know, I had to go quick, but it was nice. So in the UK, they call it skirting boards. Okay, very nice. So Taco Tuesday should include one of the new stitches we learned on the week before. I can't wait to roll Taco Tuesday out. It's going to be so nice. You know, kind of like how we evolved Let's Chat Stitches, I'm going to be evolving Taco Tuesday. Stay tuned. It's going to be good. Very, very nice. Stay safe, Sherry, please. They've got rain coming in SoCal, South Carolina. I was about to say Carolina, South California. So yes, stay tuned for all of that. So I've got to talk about some patterns that I want to feature. These are free patterns. These are for the knitters. Okay, there's so many knitting patterns out there. If you're a beginner knitter and you're wanting to learn how to knit and you want to work a project, these are free patterns. Okay, I only have 3 here. The first one is this. This here is called an Italian winter shawl from an Italian knitter. So that's her. She's the Italian knitter. I'll show you a close-up. Say hi. So that's her, an Italian knitter, and that's the shawl there. It's a beginner-friendly shawl. It's got eyelets and garter stitch. Very, very nice. And the yarn they're using is Drops Air. And they're suggesting a 5mm. I would use whatever yarn you want. So, yeah. Now, I got to tell you, when you're shopping for patterns, and this is kind of the reason why I'm showing all of you this, you need more than 2 pictures, okay? Especially if you don't know what it looks like, you know, and it's something like this. I would say 1 more picture. You know, try to put 3 in here, especially if it's, I mean, look at it. Anyway. Okay, an Italian winter shawl. The next one, this is from Tin Can Knits. So, I read the recipe. It's a free pattern. Nice recipe. My only drawback to this is there aren't enough pictures. Let me show you a really good pattern that's free. Are you ready for a really good one? This is miles different, okay? This is from Tin Can Knits. Are you ready? Tin Can Knits. See the difference? This is the grain shawl from Tin Can Knits. Absolutely free. You can print it in color, you can print it in black and white, but you can see all of the things. But wait, there's more. Look at that. You can actually see it. It's an entire page. And then the recipe is right here. But wait, there's more. There's a features page on the back with what? More pictures of all the other things that Tin Can Knits has for free. And what's more is they have an app. You can download the app and get all of their free patterns in the app right away, like this. So Tin Can Knits, you can go to the Google Play Store or the App Store, type in Tin Can Knits, download the free app, and you automatically get all the free patterns, okay? So if you knit, there's that, all right? And it goes without saying, guys, if I'm featuring the things, I have to feature this one. This here is a Stephen West shawl called the Boneyard Shawl. So it's hard to see, however, we have more than 2 pictures. And here's the second one. Okay. And here is the third one. Okay. So anyway, I want to tell you that there is a video tutorial on YouTube for this. You can go to Stephen West's YouTube channel and type in the Boneyard shawl, and it'll come right up. The tutorial's like 10 minutes. It's just 10 minutes long. So maybe 15. 10 or 15 minutes. But yeah, so those are my 3 feature patterns for the knitters. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, let me just recap for those who were interested. And by the way, I do have, when I first printed this in black and white, the Italian knitter shawl, I said to myself, let me print this in color just to see. I don't know if you can see that any better, but I do like the shaping of it. I do like how it looks. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, so the Italian winter shawl, which I think is timely, right? Because winter is here. So a winter shawl for the winter. And then the next one here is the grain shawl from Tin Can Knits. And then the Boneyard shawl from Stephen West. And all 3 of these are free patterns that you can download very easily off of Ravelry. Okay? So, very nice. As far as free crochet patterns, I will tell you that every opportunity that I get, I'm going to shamelessly plug the fact that I have free patterns on my Ravelry that you can check them out. I've got blankets, I've got shawls, I got things. Just check it out. All right? I can't help but plug that. I mean, seriously. But when it comes to the knitters, you know, it's the other side of the fence. And if you're not a knitter, you may be curious as to what's going on. So anyway, let me tell you about some yarn that I got over at Michael's. So I showed you guys this last week, and I told you guys that I was going to pick a pattern and knit it up. I wanted to do the needles. However, I went back. I had a coupon. And I picked up this colorway. I walked past and I immediately went like this. And there were only 2 left and I had to grab them. I said, I can't leave you here. You have to come with me. I love this. Isn't this great? So anyway, the colorway name here is called Blazing Sunset. And I love it. It's a bulky 5-weight yarn. They suggest a 6mm US letter J crochet hook. It's machine washable and dryable. It's great. It's an 8-ounce cake, 227 grams. And you've got 481 yards here. Anyway, what if I worked up a shawl and did this, where I picked 2 opposing colors? I have a cold and I have a warm, and I didn't run them together, but I do striping of like hot and cold. It's different, you know. I'm just thinking about it because it is the same exact yarn. The only thing that really throws it off for me is the yellow in this. But what are we thinking? Should I just leave it like this? Or throw some contrast in it? If this was yours, what would you do? Would you actually run these like in the same project together or run them separately? It yelled at me. It told me all the things, Laura. It was like, listen, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Contrast, no. Separate, block stitch. I would color block it, run them together, contrast together. Yeah, so if I were to work with these yarns, I would not pull both strands together. You would see complete sections with just this color and complete sections with just this color within the shawl, like, you know, pieces, you know? But no, I wouldn't do like a 2 for blanket. Separate or contrast? Okay. I'll try it. I'll see what it looks like. And if I don't like it, then I won't do it. Okay. So, yeah. Stay tuned. I'll tell you all the things. Fingers crossed, right? Enough color in one ball. 481 yards is a lot, but you know what? I've got 2 of each color, so yes. Emily says, in my opinion, I would throw a solid color in between. That's not a bad idea, you know? But you know how, like this, I would make a shawl. I want to make a shawl with that. I would do sections like this. So red, blue. I would do it like that, you know, within the shawl, like this. If I worked with both of those colors, that's how I would do it. Instead of like, you know. So, yeah, I'm gonna see what it looks like first. If I don't like it, like I said, I'll frog it all back and start over. And if that's the case, this one's going to win. I'm gonna make something with this before I do with this. Because like I said, when I saw this, I stopped dead in my tracks. I said, I need to take you home. Yeah. I would at least run them together as a swatch first. Yeah, for sure. I do like that pattern, and the colors are great. Yeah. So I'm thinking about either doing the Boneyard shawl or the Italian knitter shawl. So we'll see. But I've got the yarn picked out. It's either going to be this, the blue, or both. I'm curious how it washes up, right? It's, oh, I'm sorry. I kind of knew that. It's hand wash, lay flat to dry. It's 80 acrylic and 20 wool. So yeah, 80 acrylic, 20 wool. I love how vibrant the colors are, right? So nice. That's really nice. Stay tuned. I'm going to check out the things. Now tomorrow, if my local yarn store is open, I'm not sure if my local yarn store is going to be open, but I need to go there because I showed you guys yarn last week. A while ago, maybe last year, I commissioned Spring, the fiber enthusiast, to hand dye and hand spin yarn for me. And I found the label here that came with the yarn she sent. It's right here. So this is 419 yards of a DK weight yarn. So 419 yards. It's not enough to do anything substantial like a big scarf or a shawl. That's something I would want to wear around my neck while doing like a podcast or something. I'm going to need complementary yarn. So I'm going to take this over to my LYS and I'm going to go to the person who runs it and I'm going to say, hey, I got this yarn. Do you have anything that I could complement this yarn with? I don't want to run it together, but I want it in the same project so that I can take this yarn and really showcase it and expand it out, you know? And stay tuned. Hopefully they have something. But I'm just going to show you up close. It's got a little bit of stellina in it, not a lot. And it's got a lot of jewel tones in there. It's got browns, indigo, and it's got grays. It's really, really nice. So anyway, Spring the Fiber Enthusiast took care of me when she did this. So if you're here, Spring, thanks again. And I'm still excited to work it. E-Crew would be nice, yeah. I was thinking about doing like a light color for contrast or stay dark. You know, maybe do like a charcoal. What I'm more concerned about is the actual fiber. I want the yarn to look similar. I don't want the yarn to look too far off the mark. So you see how it's twisted? It's hand spun. So I want yarn that looks like that. So yeah, I would like to do like a charcoal gray or even like an espresso brown or something dark like that. Like a mahogany, an espresso, or a charcoal, something like that. To just really, I love it. Even, yes, aubergine would be nice too. And I do have aubergine, but I don't have hand spun. And maybe they've got some sort of yarn there that's similar to this. I don't know, we'll see. I'll keep you posted, but I wanted to show you that because I'm on an adventure. I'm looking for all the things. So anyway, guys, I really hope that you like Let's Chat Stitches. We've covered the full run of the gambit. We did a recap of stitches. We introduced some new ones, maybe some new to you, maybe some refresher ones. We went over the stats for Ravelry. yeah, and I showcased some patterns. Very, very nice. Got to finish some wrapping presents. Happy holidays to all, right? So good. So hopefully you enjoy this. Now, as I mentioned earlier a few moments ago, next week is Let's Chat Stitches. So, it's not. Next week is Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday next week. Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here. We're going to introduce season 5. It's going to be all the things. Okay? So that is all from me for now, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as always. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.